I'm obsessed with this beat, you guys. Like, StreamYard did their big one. StreamYard did their big one. Speaking of, I have a promo code for that. Hold on, let me drop it. Let me drop the referral link because that's deserving. That's deserving of a plug. It really is. So, hello, everyone. Everyone, thank you for coming. Thank you to Nessa, La Madrina. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yes, and we have our guest in the chat as well. And then we have the usual folks. Fernando, thank you for coming. Gift, as always. You're always your presence in the chat is always a gift. Thank you. So this is Tasty Talks Tech, Wrestling, and Life podcast live. So you guys know last Tuesday, I had, the Tuesday before last, I had Megan Ambers on, and we chatted a bit about her life, her career, and stuff like that, how she got into wrestling, yada, yada, whoop-de-woo. Today is going to be the same format because Tasty Talks, like I said before, is the kind of serious side of me. Use that term very loosely. So I have another guest. So thank you for coming. Thank you to the people who want to be on my little podcast. Hey, Devin, the Tribal Chief. You know what? Maybe you're next, Devin. Maybe we can get you on the pod next, possibly. Shout out to Devin, the Tribal Chief. Check out his watch-alongs, wrestling watch-alongs, and it's his reactions are priceless. Also another shout out to, again, shouting out the Culture Clash Familia, La Madrina from the Humble Roses podcast, and as well as the Fab Four on Sports for You Wrestling. Speaking of the Humble Roses podcast, happy birthday to Dallas Cash. Happy birthday. He's not in here, but hey, still want to wish the bro a happy freaking birthday. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start, as I want to be mindful of my guest's time. Actually, Brandon, my guest, do a collab for Watch Along with Devin. I actually did a Watch Along with Devin. We did the TNA premiere on AMC Plus, and we both endured the ads. And that was the last time I watched TNA on AMC Plus. I'm sorry. That was the last time because that was the last time. It's over it. But like I said, without further ado, I am going to introduce my guest. Again, be mindful of his time. So my guest is Brandon Bean. We met in the IWC and the wrestling, the good part of the IWC, the good part of the internet wrestling community, and really cool guy. He always shows up for, again, I'm plugging Culture Clash Network. He's always in the chats, the watch-alongs, always showing love, contributing to the conversation in a positive way. And I actually just learned something very interesting about him last week. And I was like, oh, yeah, I kind of want to have you come on and talk more about that, like about his intended career path, which I thought was very interesting. He's a student and so am I. So I'm like, oh, what are you going to school for? And then we kind of went from there. And I was just like, yeah, come on. It's actually really interesting. So, and yeah, I don't know if he has been on live before. I think this is our first time kind of like having an interaction like face to face. This is really cool. Like you guys are witnessing like a first time thing too. Like this is really cool. So again, here I am going to bring up, he is also in the chat. So make sure that you show him some love on his YouTube channel. Looks like it's Brandon Bean 30. And I think that's his social media handle for everything across the board. But we can check in a second. Please welcome Brandon Bean.
Thanks for having me, Mimi.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It is going pretty well over here in sunny California. It looks sunny over there too. How are you?
Yeah, it's down here. It's typical Texas weather. 1 minute it's sunny, next minute wants to rain. So, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I lived in Houston for a little from 2021 to 2023. So, thankfully, I did not I didn't endure any hurricanes. Thankfully,
Yes,
because
yes.
my ass can't swim.
that's that's how it be sometimes. Like,
So I was
try to.
like,
Like, it's one thing to live down here, but it's another adventure when you've been down here all 29 years of your life. So, yeah, it's been an adventure. Like I tell people all the time, like it ain't for the weak. Like what it's like one of those things where it's like everything I could say everything. It's one of those types of adventures where it's like you name it, I've experienced it. So that's how I feel about living in the state of Texas for like 29 years. So
oh wow.
yeah.
Where have you lived all in Texas or just in like one city or one part? Because Texas is
So
huge.
yeah, so I am originally from Rosenberg, Texas. It is 30 minutes outside of Houston.
Oh, the north or south
Yeah,
or east or which way?
it was like southwest, southwest.
Oh, so
Yeah,
going more towards like Galveston.
yeah. So it's like Rosenberg, then it's like Sugarland, then it's like Rich. No, it's like Rosenberg, then Richmond, then Sugarland, then like other
Right,
parts.
Sugarland.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I'm
yeah,
familiar with that. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. I know Texas is huge.
yeah.
Texas is so big. They have another time zone within the state, like in El Paso. Like
Ah,
I
okay.
yeah, like when you're going like out, like you're going back west and you're going out, there's another time zone.
Yeah.
Like how do y'all have another time zone within your state? Like what?
I don't know.
I
We just and it feels like with the crazy thing about when you riding around Texas, it feels like forever to get into a certain city.
it
You're
is
like,
forever because it's huge. It's spread out.
yeah, because it's like, okay, it's like you go from Rosemary to Richmond, you're like, all right, it's not that fast. But then it take you so far, you pass these little towns, and then before you know it, you're in the big city. You're like, oh, okay, we're right here. Okay,
Mhm. And don't miss an exit.
yeah. Yeah, like
Don't miss an exit.
out here is like you miss an exit, you gotta go like it's gonna take you at least 20, 30, possibly 40 minutes just to find another one.
And then
So it's
come
like,
back. Yep,
yeah,
it's a mess. Yeah. Well, thank you for being on here. Welcome to Tasty Talks, Tech Wrestling and Life. And yeah, I wanted to, what I was saying before chat, everyone listening, is that I learned something interesting about Brandon, and I kind of want to talk more about it. So I learned that Brandon is also a student. So as you guys know, I am a network security student, cybersecurity student. Just a kind of all around tech student because I study. I'm formally going to school for network security. Um, and eventually, like, I do want to pursue and go to grad school and study computer science. I think it'd be really cool to call myself a doctor of computers. I know it's really nerdy, but I mean, I think it'd be really cool. Um, so just an all-around tech student. So I asked Brandon what he was going to school for because he mentioned he was graduating soon, and I was like, "What are you going to school for?" And what are you going to school for, Brandon?
I am pursuing a bachelor's degree in mass communication with a concentration in broadcast production. So I'm using that to try to go into like sports broadcasting. It's been kind of a dream I've had since I want to say like I guess junior high when I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I just happened to watch, Sports Center one day, and came across a guy named Stuart Scott. So when he was like, reporting the news and about sports and everything, and just about him, like, he used, like kind of culture language to kind of like resonate to an audience. So when I saw that and I heard that and like seeing him being a person of color, I'm like, okay, this is what I wanted to do. Like, so what I would do is I would just like in the beginning, in the early stages, I would just like get I would get some pen, I would get a paper, and I would just like write down, sports players, height, weight, where they from, what school they went to as the beginning. Then like suddenly by the time I started getting to high school, I was like, all right, let's add to it. So I went from not only just writing down players and stats and their stats, I did the entire team. So I was like, let me just do okay. So it went from just players, individual players and stats to like now let's do teams. Like, okay, this is the year that that the season has been played. The arena or stadium they're playing in,
Mm-hmm.
the head coaches. So, like for example, like if it's like let's say it's the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is I'd be like, all right, I'd be like, okay, 2025 head coach D'Amico Ryans. Then I would point out, teams, write down the team stats from like points per game all the way down to points differential. Then I would
Mm-hmm.
list down the side of it. I also would list out the assistant coaches from like office coordinator down to the positional coaches, down to the offensive line coaches. So same thing with defense, same thing. So once I like started to do offense, defense, and special teams, I was like, all right, well, let's just do that for not only NFL, let's do that for college. Not
Mm-hmm.
only women's sports, not only men's sports, but also women's sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at that level now to where like I know like, okay, I have the schedule by heart. So I'll be like, okay, well, the NFL schedule starts September. Let me
Mm-hmm.
prepare in August. Like, oh, okay, like college basketball coming up. Let me start in October or something like that. So I would always
Mm-hmm.
mentally prepare myself and just start out maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe like depending on how close we get to the season, I would then start to begin on it to kind of like, get ready for that season. Then
Mm-hmm.
that's why I always put the coaching staff and stuff like that in case of the portal or who's being hired, who's being
Mm-hmm.
fired. So it's just like it allows me to like keep it updated, keep updating every single
Mm-hmm.
year in case like stuff changes in sports. So that's how that's what I usually do in my off
Oh,
days.
wow.
So yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, so you've been doing that you ever since you saw this. Who is it? Who's the announcer you mentioned? I'm sure people in the chat probably. I'm not a,
Yeah, so Stuart
so I don't know.
Sky, yeah,
Stuart
Stuart
Sky?
Sky, yeah.
Okay.
Stuart Sky, he was a well-renowned analyst. He was like
For what?
charismatic.
Just like all sports or just like a specific sport?
Um, I think I think it was mainly, I want to say mainly basketball. I
Okay.
would say mainly basketball. Like he had this personality of like, he wasn't like this typical broadcaster that was just like, like, oh, I'm such and such here to tell you about sports. He would kind of like, he would do that, but he would blend in some of his personality to make the the to make the show more, more us. It doesn't feel like robotic. It doesn't feel like too professional. It's more
He added
like,
seasoning. He added seasoning.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's right.
It's
Yeah.
like he kind of see like, okay, I see everybody else's robotic. Even though I'm gonna be robotic, but I gotta still be me at the end of the day
Right.
to make it feel authentic. People want authentic. So
That's
he was
right.
probably one of the rare ones at the time that had that. What you see is what you got every week. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do this just to impress people. What I saw in Stuart Sky was This was Stuart Sky. So I
Hmm.
didn't go in and be like, man, I feel like he gonna flip flop. Stewart was one of those guys that was, hey, this is me. It's up to you if you want me to watch. Like, it's up to you if you want to watch me or not. I'm gonna still be
Right.
like this 24/7. So I think that's where I think we're missing now. We're kind of missing the authenticity of sports and coverage just by sports
Mhm.
personalities. Because it's like you can't really tell. One minute it sounds like okay, then next minute they do something else, and you go, like, where's the consistency?
Yeah,
And
that can be hard though, because
yeah,
with all of these industries, sports, and now even talking about not even wrestling, because now wrestling is considered like lumped in there now in sports,
hmm
especially being on ESPN. There's a bunch of like, there's politics, you know what I'm saying? Like that whole like being PC and, and still kind of like, okay, but there's like shareholders, there's sponsors, there's, all these kinds of things that people have to kind of think about. So it is really hard, especially for the culture, to kind of like navigate through that. So the simple fact that when you noticed that when you were a kid and you saw that and recognized that and that inspired you, that's really cool. Representation is so key. Like it really is. So that's really cool that you started doing that at a young age and still continue to do it. It sounds like to this day. And actually now even too, like when you were saying what you would do when you were preparing for like the seasons, because I know like uh football, they all have pro season, like preseason, right?
hmm
They all have like games and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, so that can even do you kind of usually work that into your preparation as well? Maybe for like fantasy booking or something or
So
coverage
for
or
me, right, when preseason roll around, I would be like, okay, once the preseason ends and you know once the 53 man roster gets announced, that's when I'm like all systems go. Like let's start with this team. So I would start on the AFC side first before going to the NFC side. So it's just
Mhm.
like I don't really like, I understand injuries can happen. That's why I wait to the final day of preseason to even do it, because I know injuries can happen. I know cuts can happen. I know a lot of things can happen in the off season. So I wait till, like, you know, the final day of preseason to write it all down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, look, I'm kind of going in the chat now too. Shout out to John Watson. Thank you for coming by. Another CCN family member. Speaking of sports, John is actually part of Sports for You Wrestling and Sports for You. Today is Tuesday, so I believe they have a Sports for You live stream coming up tonight. So we actually do have a question for you, Brandon. You may have seen it in the chat from Devin, the Tribal Chief.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is shade. I don't know, because I don't, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Question. Devin asks, question. How are you a New York Jets fan from Texas? How, Sway?
So I get asked a lot, this question a lot. I think for me, because I was born in '96, so there's a long story behind it. So, like, as people know, like, the Oilers, like, the Texans used to be known as the Houston Oilers back in the day, from like 79 to like 1993. So then the team had got moved from Houston down to Tennessee, and it was initially called the Tennessee Oilers before eventually becoming the Tennessee Titans. So when I was born July 2nd, 1996. So when I first came.
You a Cancer too? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You a Cancer too? Hey, fellow Cancer, I'm July 12th.
I think we're literally
we're 10 years apart and 10 days apart.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Funny. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think it's like, yeah, so around that time, I was thinking, well, there's no team in Texas other than the Cowboys. So I was like, well, I ain't want to do that. So instead of me picking the Cowboys, I was like, all right, let's just find a team out there. And then when 2002 came around, I saw like this team, and I was like, man, they got unique colors, like they got a unique green and white. I was like, okay, their colors are dope. Let's see who the players on the team. And at that time, they had a quarterback in Chad Pennington and running back in like Curtis Morris. So I was like, okay, I don't know much about this team, but this is a dope little team. But then they won the division, had playoffs and everything. And after that, I was like, man, I need to follow this team. Like I don't know, something about them. I think I like that team because they wasn't. What made them unique, because like I think for me, I just like underdog teams, if that makes sense. Like, and that year they just like they gave that underdog feel. Like, yeah, of course we're not, the top New York team. It's always been the Giants, but they kind of gave off that like underdog vibe, where it's like, yeah, there'd be some seasons where it looks awful, but but within those seasons, there's been terrific seasons. Like, yes, we get it. Like, I guess I get it. People were like, oh, they haven't won since 1968. I was like, and that's always been the runner joke, but the response I always give is, keep in mind, this was used to be the Kansas City Chiefs before they started winning, by the way. A lot of people don't know that from the Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
Like, the Chiefs, prior to, obviously Mahomes and them winning Super Bowls, their last championship was 1969. So when did
the Chiefs started with? Because I remember I was in elementary school. Now we 10 years apart. Okay, so
yeah,
when I was in elementary school, there was this kid. and he was a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. I guess his parents were, so he became one. Um, he was a little Portuguese kid, and we were cool, whatever. But everything was he was all about the Chiefs. And I think that was it. That had to have been in the 90s. I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
So probably like around like when you were probably around when you were born. Um, um so when did they start like winning?
they had some years where they were a playoff team, but they couldn't really get over the hump until like obviously Patrick Mahomes came through. So I think that's pretty much. But I think a lot of times it's that you do come across people that start root for them because Mahomes is there now, whereas others are like, "Hey, we've been here since the beginning, and we remember." And a lot of people remember the struggles and stuff. So I think
Hmm.
you could say that about every sports team fan bases, where it's like, "Oh, well, I've been here since." They've been struggling, or I just came here since this player came around. So
Hmm.
I think it's really like that's the one thing that I found unique about the Jets. Like, yes, there are some seasons where it's been tough, but then there's been some like positive seasons. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. We haven't had a positive season since 2010, but that was, and I would still tell people all the time, like those 2 years when the Jets last went to the AFC title game, it was the most fun experience I've ever had. Like, it was also heartbreaking because we were so close from going to the Super Bowl, but just the togetherness that team had, the brotherhood they had, um, it really showed that it did. It really showed me and showed everybody else, hey, you don't have to. It doesn't matter, you know, if you are stars or not. It's all about having the best team, whoever the better team that day was. So I think when they had this run, a lot of people gonna call it, miracle or whatever. But you could tell the togetherness that they had in that locker room. It screamed like, "Hey, I don't care what the outside noise is saying. The most important people on this team is in this building. So if you in this
Hmm.
building, you matter. If you outside the building,
Hmm.
hey, you don't matter." And that was the mentality that Rex Ryan had brought to that team, and hopefully, like Aaron Glenn brings that same energy
Hmm.
to this version's team. But if not, then just like typical NFL, like you got to find somebody else. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm always optimistic every year because anything can happen in any given year, especially football. So, and
Right.
sports in
But
general. So, yeah.
But like when it comes to football and sports in general, I actually just listened to an interesting YouTube video about all of these venture capitalists buying up sports teams.
Hmm.
Perfect example is now, I believe the Boston Cel I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the example that was used was the current Boston Celtics um, owner. So and I actually want to kind of like take it a step back and like reword that because you're not supposed to, I guess when you own a sports team, the percentage of which you own it, like it's supposed to be like basically owned by a person. Like most of the majority of the ownership is supposed to be a person. So what happened was the current owner of the Celtics, he when he first went into the deal, um it was the his ownership was invalid because he had venture capitalist help. So on paper, like when it came to money, like the venture capitalist firm was the main owner, from what it looked on paper. And after he posted, because I guess I guess he's such a huge Celtics fan. After the word got out that he bought, and I use that term bought loosely because on paper, it was actually not under, it was technically, he wasn't the majority owner. When the word got out that he was the owner, then that's when he was able to get help with money elsewhere. And then he was able to shift into more of that owner role on paper because he had the financial backing. But he's still in bed, like business wise, with that venture capitalist firm. So there's a lot of like, and we can even talk about like when it comes to wrestling, like with TKO. Now, I don't know if they're venture capitalists. I don't know. But, a lot of people have been saying that like TKO is ruining WWE, because of the money. Like it's all about just the money, the dollars and stuff like that. And even thinking about last night when you first came on, when we were chatting backstage here in the little virtual studio, you were still like, I'm still trying to get over what happened last night. And that can even be played into that. You know what I'm saying? So do you think that these venture capitalists and this new tide of like this newer generation of sports ownership is messing with like the teams and the dynamics and just basically the whole point of sports in general?
I think the thing about capitalism is that I think it's always been around. It's just,
oh, for sure.
It's one of those things where it's like, I know people will be like, oh, it's now going capitalism. I was like, nah, capitalism been around.
It's been around.
It's just now at to the point where it's like, oh, we don't even care no more. It's kind of like that now, where it's like, I guess you want to say like back then they hit it better, but like now it's like, well, it's social media, so let's just flaunt it. Who's gonna tell us we can't, spend money and stuff like that. So I think now it went from hiding it behind closed doors to now just in your face, out in the open. Here we are. We're no longer finna hide this. We're finna just show you on display. So I think like it just tells you that like their approach is more in your face with it than just hiding behind it.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of has to be in a sense from what I'm thinking, because what's done in the light, especially nowadays, what's done in the dark comes to light. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you kind of have to lean into it, like in a way, like you kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't, then you look like a liar and then you get canceled for being a liar. You know what I'm saying? Then people are pitchfork. So it's like, it's kind of like, it definitely brings up the fact that either way, people are not happy. You ain't going to be able to make everyone happy all the time. Yeah. And I think that's like, I know that sounds kind of like pro-capitalist, which I wouldn't say I am.
It's kind of like being in the middle.
Yeah, I am. I'm kind of in the middle. Even like politically, I'm in the middle. Like I usually understand both sides. There are certain things certain values that I have, I take like a hard stance on. You know what I'm saying? Like things also too that should honestly just be bipartisan, that usually are bipartisan, like health and wellness and things of that nature. That doesn't matter who, red, blue, black, green, orange, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just think that, I mean, I don't know. I haven't grown up like a complete like sports fan. I know I've always been into, I've always kind of been, I've watched, but I've also played. I've kind of always been that person. I'd rather play. Like I like to watch. I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then go try it myself. type of thing. So I never really, actually, that's not true. I was like a hardcore Kings fan. Um, from like when my cousin Devin introduced me to basketball. I've been introduced like to sports by like friends or family. And I really like the Kings and I really like the Spurs. I know everyone talks about how kind of like boring the Spurs are, but that kind of what you were saying earlier about like that kind of like that camaraderie, you know what I mean? And just kind of like being by the book, like I appreciate that about them. I sensed that there was some camaraderie, I guess proven elsewise later, amongst the Kings. uh, but yeah, so yeah, it's just very interesting to see how ownership just across the board when it comes to even just outside of sports and wrestling and stuff like that in different industries. You see people like farming, for example, you see people buying up these farms and they have no idea what it takes to be a farmer. I've never even planted a flower in their lives. They don't even have plants. But you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can definitely see, like, to John's point, these owners are more hedge funds, no more mom and pop organization. When the ownership shifts to the people who are thinking differently, than the people that actually watch the sport and actually support and go to the games, which actually I don't know, because the current owner of the Celtics is a fan. Um, so I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, I guess it kind of gave him the access. So which it was, I guess it was good. So I guess I guess in a way, like these venture capitalists, like John's hedge funds, are kind of helping people to maybe, live their dreams. Like, oh, I own my team now. I own my favorite sports team now. But then on the flip side of that coin, then it kind of, when you also get that help from someone, you're also kind of under their thumb. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I just kind of wanted to, talk to you about that, because it's like, doesn't that also then affect like not affect you going into the industry, but also kind of like you and other like professionals, like analysts and things of that nature, like you were talking about earlier, the person who got you into wanting to pursue sports broadcasting, that kind of also too adds it kind of, when it comes to certain things that you can say or how you can look or act or be whatever on TV in front of the public, that also affects it too.
I think, yeah, and it's one of those rules in sports just like in business, it's like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And in that profession, it kind of also, it definitely resonates, because you can kind of see, oh, you got on because of this person over here, or like, oh, well, my dad runs the team, so now I'm over it. Now I'm over the team. So kind of like AEW with the Khan family, same thing, where it's like you get into a business and you're like, well, why would I go own a team or something when my dad owns a whole company? Let me go run that real quick. So, because it kind of prevents them from failing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I mean, think about it. Look at Vince McMahon. He could have easily started to go somewhere else and try to venture out somewhere else. But he realized like, why would I do that when my dad is owning a company that he could eventually just hand it to me? So I think it's like a lot of, I guess if you want to call it Nepo babies,
Mm.
um, they kind of had a sense of like, why would I venture somewhere else where my dad or whomever runs this, so I could just, follow behind them and try to profit or try to make it better, and keep it in the family business. So
Right.
I think it's just like, it depends on what you do. Like, I mean, if you want to do that, hey, by all means, you could do it, or you could just, carve your own path. So either way it
Yeah.
go, I think it's just like, I think it just come down to that particular person, what that person wants. But I
Hmm.
don't think either side is the wrong choice.
Right. No, because that's the whole, I mean, th- that leaving a legacy for your kids, like like that's kind of everyone's goal. Like even for me, like I don't have kids or anything, but I would like to leave something for just the community, like the community that I serve, the people that I want to help. When I pass on, leave something so that it could keep going, to continue helping. Like that's the whole point. The whole point of working hard, doing the work, putting in and doing all these things is to be able to go back to leave something for the next generations to come. So, when people kind of get all up in arms about like, oh, like the whole Nepo baby thing, it's like, well, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't someone come along and take advantage of, like, why wouldn't your kids come along and take advantage and carry on and things of that nature, carry the legacy and stuff like that? Like that's the kind of the whole point. So yeah. But yeah, so you've been studying this and stuff like that. You're in school for it. You're about to graduate. Um, what is like kind of like the path? So you're in school. Like, do you also have like internships that you do for this? A project? Because I know I have to do like a student innovation project, and stuff like that. Like, is it the same thing? And like, how does that all work out?
So like I'm currently taking a course that, helps me, you know, get ready to get a job. I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah. So it's like I'm at that since I'm like graduating, the class is like set up for me to try to like get ready for a job. So I would have to like, post stuff on LinkedIn, stuff like that to kind of like push myself out there. So what I would
Mm-hmm.
do is I would be like, okay, well, I was like, well, the only way I could do is if like I gotta jump on podcasts, let me jump on other people's podcasts to kind of like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, like okay, if I can just jump on like any type of podcast, like related to like sports, and just post things maybe on social media or just on LinkedIn, maybe that'll get, like allow them to see my face and not just my voice and hear
Mm-hmm.
my voice. Maybe that would draw people in. So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much what I would do while still,
Okay. Well, I got
while
you.
still
We
writing down
we can
stats. Yeah.
we're still gonna like we're gonna connect. I got the hint. We're gonna
Hmm.
connect on LinkedIn,
Gotcha.
and then when I get done clipping this up, I can like tag you.
Understandable.
I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
And then you were also saying like while still continuing to do like the stats and things of that
Hmm.
nature. Um, that's really cool. Um, yeah. What are some like so when you say like stats and like when you're like in your class to prepare for this, like, and also too like the business side, are you learning kind of more? Um, like you said mass communications, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so what does that like when it comes to sports and broadcasting, what exactly does that entail?
So for me, yeah, like I think for me, like I've been taught like don't just sell for just one thing. Try to be, versatile in so many areas so
Mm-hmm.
that even though like yeah, they even though you might be asked to be on air talent, you can do something behind the scenes. So for me, that's where the production side of it comes in at, like learning, the basics of a camera, how to use a camera, how to utilize a camera. So
Mm-hmm.
like let's say for example, like they could be like, hey, let's say for one day they'd be like, even though you're not on for on air talent, we need somebody to jump on. We need somebody to be a cam op. Can you be a cam op? Yeah, I could be a cam op.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
you could be like, hey, I need somebody to be a technical director. Can you do that? Yeah, I got experience with that
Mm-hmm.
too. So it's like, hey, do you have like any experience with audio? I'm like, yeah, I do audio for the church I attend to. So
Okay.
anything is like I the reason why I decided to go through this program is because I wanted to be like versatile. So therefore, because I'm always feel like, hey, I'd rather be versatile than just looking to do one thing. Because they probably gonna
Mm-hmm.
look for, I'll say, let's just go through this because they might be looking for somebody with versatility. They're always gonna look
Right.
for somebody for versatility. So why not take a course that requires you to be versatile? So that's why I decided to pursue that, because I wanted to be versatile at the end of the day. So that way I can fit in just like everybody else.
Right. And plus, not to mention, like, it's certain like entry level positions can just get your foot in the door and just get you in front of those in those environments, in front of those people and stuff like that. Even with technology, even with like cybersecurity. Honestly, what I'm starting to learn now is, first of all, cybersecurity is huge. Okay, it's a huge field. There's like different facets of it, like little subcategories. And with that being said, I mean, typically, even when you're breaking into cybersecurity, you kind of want to get more into, you usually kind of start sometimes like doing like technical support or like doing like help desk type of work or something like that. And then you kind of go from there and build. You get experience, just like your basics. And then you kind of go from there. So that's why I'm kind of versatile too. I'm learning about security. I'm learning about like, current technologies, AI, blockchain, things of that nature. So I'm just kind of like same thing, just kind of like a general technologist. So yeah, so that's really cool. So yeah, that's why, like I said, I wanted to sit down and have this conversation with you, because we do have, I mean, even though like I'm in tech, you're in mass communications going into sports broadcasting, like it's still the parallel, um life lived, like living as a student. So yeah, that's really cool. I don't know. I know you're a student, you have like, I know I put down like an hour for us. So I want to be mindful of that. I do kind of want to get, just kind of touching on what you were saying earlier, before we started the podcast, about your reactions to yesterday. I and I think that also kind of ties into the kind of whole like capitalism, business side of it all too. Um, and I don't want to go too much into it because I am doing my show tomorrow. and I kind of want to save some talking for for that. But just really quickly before we kind of like sign off and tell people how they can find you and stuff, like what are your thoughts about last night? I know a lot of people were saying, and actually it wasn't okay, so I went on X and it wasn't just Punk and Roman. Everyone had an issue. People had an issue with what Liv said in her promo, which I got to go back and kind of watch that, because I was like in the ATD Acknowledged Dynasty watch along. Shout out to them. And I had like 3 watch along tabs up. Okay, I was supporting the ATD, I was supporting Devin, the Tribal Chief, and I was supporting the Tribal War Zone. So I had a lot going on. But yeah, so there was a lot of stuff that yesterday just popped the F off. And I mean, I think it's for the reaction. I think it's for the talk. I think it's to push these ticket sales. What do you think?
A part of me felt that way, but another part felt like this was the best Raw episode in like, it felt like forever. It felt like forever. For it to be like,
that's so funny you say that, because that's Fernando. I think Raw was excellent.
I think it's just overall, like the event itself, like it was like I get it. Everybody was waiting for the Roman Punk segment, but just the whole event was really good. Like it started off crazy. You had Rollins finally getting his hands on Paul Heyman, bloody in his nose. You had Jimmy attacking Austin Theory. You had LA Knight driving the ambulance truck out. It was crazy. Then you had like Penta becoming the new Intercontinental Champion, which
I knew. Like, hello,
yeah, it was honestly, that Penta becoming Intercontinental Champion, that's like overdue, honestly.
Well,
so
I knew that was gonna happen no matter what, because Dom had that title, he was injured, it couldn't get defended, and it was just, and it also, with everything going on with the Judgment Day, it just makes sense. I definitely didn't expect Finn to kind of, I mean, I'm not surprised either by that, but I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, so like the words, even like Jade and Rhea's thing, like people online are kind of like getting up in arms about that. But that's the whole point, right? Like they want people to talk about it. It was also noted that, who was it? I think it was someone from TKO noted that ESPN viewership increased because from Elimination Chamber. So I guess maybe that's because it could be that Offset, the other side of them not really selling tickets. People are turning to ESPN, just saying, F it, fine, I'll just get the ESPN app, But yeah, I wanted to kind of like hone in on like the controversy of it all. It seems like the conversation is split down the middle, like legit. There are people who were saying that, yes, I understand that. Yes, I understand that controversy sells, but some things are too far. Not all good money is not all money is good money type of thing. And then you have those who are just like, nah, like I'm here for it. Myself, I kind of in the middle. I mean, I understand. I totally understand. Again, I'll have to go back and watch Liv's promo, because the angle that she went with it, and she delivered it very well. So I didn't see anything. I didn't hear or see anything wrong with that. What Punk said, um, I guess, I mean, it's, I can understand what people were up in arms about, because I take it kind of, take it kind of personal too, because I've lost my mom. And one of my exes, my last ex-girlfriend, was like, in a fight between us, in an argument, she was like, F your dead mother. I said it multiple times, but she was doing it to hurt me. And so, as someone who has been on the receiving end of something like that, it's like, okay, that kind of touched me. At the same time, it was a totally different context. Like, we were in an argument and she was
Yeah.
trying to hurt me. And I mean, it was, it for storyline, it was like Punk was trying to dig into, so it's the same thing for storyline, but it's not exactly the same. So, but I mean, at the same time, that's the whole point of it. But with it being the whole point, is, are people, I mean, people's feelings are valid and they have every right to feel what they feel. But then it's like, considering all of this, especially being kind of like, is it just too far? Like, is there, and I know WWE just taps all over the fucking line. Oh, excuse me, I didn't want to say the F word because my podcast, I had to like bleep myself out. But WWE consistently tap dances all over the line, like the blurred line. So I mean, what do you think about, like, was it, do you understand where it's a little too far? Like, are you kind of in the middle as well?
I'm in the middle as well, because I'm like, I could see, everybody's like, on one hand, people are like, oh, this is too far. On the other hand, people are like, well, Roman kept mentioning Cody's dad. So this is like Punk saying, hey, well, you're the one who keep mentioning, you kept talking about Cody's dad at every single turn. Now it's your turn. So it's kind of like that type of thing. Now, granted, Cody responded by mentioning. Now, granted, Cody mentioned the High Chief, Peter Maivia, like, as a response.
And that's another thing too, is culture. You know what I'm saying? There are different things in different cultures. So like in the Samoan culture, there's like levels, and you know what I'm saying? And I think that's another reason why people are so up in arms, because it's like, it's a whole like literal like dynasty and lineage, and their culture is surrounded and ingrained in that. So when you say something like that, it hits extra, because it's like, you're not just talking about me now, you're talking about the bloodline, my ancestors, like, oh, now it's deep. And now, yeah, I think that's the main difference too, is the culture surrounding it.
Yeah.
And it's just all around, just like, I think that's why people are so, why it was like, that's too far.
Yeah. I think, but a part of that is that, but then you could kind of see on X, like, the different, we're having a generational disconnect, right? So whereas like everybody's like, oh, it's too far, I'm like, okay, and then there's some that's like, everything's fair game in wrestling. I'm like, oh, this is like, we're having a generational disconnect, because there were some people that grew up, in the attitude, era where everything was just, hey, nothing is off limits. So whereas like you got people now maybe grew up in the PG era saying, hey, we think it's too far.
That's true.
Like, so I think it's like, that's why I'm saying I'm kind of in the middle, because like I can understand what a PG era fan is saying, and then I could kind of understand what an attitude era is saying, because it's like, I would, since by being in the, born in '96, I was kind of like in the attitude, the
Right.
ruthless aggression era, where everything I saw on TV was nothing is off limits. We don't care what the storyline is. Everything is off the cuff. Like we've had, like, I know people was like, oh, well, this storyline is getting too far. I'm like, you didn't grow up during the era that we had to grow up in, where every storyline felt personal. Like whether it was Attitude Era, listen, we could go a whole podcast episode about how wild the Attitude Era was in terms of storyline.
Yeah.
So whether it's, let's see, whether it was Triple H hiring Rikishi to try to run down Stone Cold, whether it was Undertaker and his Ministry of Darkness persona, whether it was Vince and Sable in 2003, whether it was like Brock, attacking Zach Gowen and stuff like that. So it's just like, I would be like, it kind of, sometimes I look at comments, not only in YouTube, but also on social media, and I just laugh because I'm like, man, y'all wouldn't have survived back in the day. Like the stuff that, like they wouldn't have survived. Like just even when it comes to women, the presentation of the women, like the over sexualization of women, if I want to put it like that. Well, like, yes, we did look at some women and go, hey, these were some beautiful women. And people like, because people would look back at it and be like, how could people watch that? I'm like, well, sex sells. Like, just like today, sex sells.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, but at the same time, like,
it's far.
well, not to mention, it was also kind of like an insult to intelligence, because it was like, oh, so this is not all that women can do. Because I mean, even now, I mean, look at the gear and stuff now. They be looking finer than, they be looking fine as wine, but the talent is still showcased.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is, compared to now, Sean knows how to pick them. Sean knows how to what? I said Sean knows how to pick them. Yeah.
Oh,
Sean
Lord.
Sean knows how to pick them. I was like, listen, Sean. I said, Sean, listen, Sean, being from down south, he is very intentional on who he wants to bring in. Let's just say that. He's very intentional on who he wants. Like, yes, he understands. I think Sean understands it better than when he understands, yes, you are eye candy, but he also is like, I also want you to be great in the ring as well. So like, like a Jada Parker, maybe a Tiffany Stratton, a Rhea, like where you have women now that's like, yes, we're beautiful, but we're also showcasing our athletic talents to balance it out. So you can't just say, oh, they're booking her because, she's beautiful. No, they're booking her because she can go in the ring. So it's
that's
like
now. That's now. And
back then,
back then it was literally just for
eye
spectacle.
Candy. Yeah, eye candy.
Just for spectacle. Yeah. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And certain women had to come along and break that. Like,
Trish and Lita, by
you
the
know
way.
what I'm saying? Yeah, had to come along and break that and say, they kind of played the game for a bit, but also, working hard and, saying, okay, I'm gonna play this game for a little bit, but then I'm also gonna break through and show you. And they did. It was kind of like I watched the Nick Cannon show, like where he does sits in the backyard and they play spades and he has guests. Mercedes Moné was on there. Is that who she goes by now, right? Mercedes Moné? Yes. Okay, yes. I just want to make sure I'm getting correct because, she's, So she was on there, and she said that her, as Snoop Dogg told her, gave her some rules of the game, and he was saying like, sometimes you just got to be a hoe. Meaning,
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to play the game, and you work hard, you play the game, and then eventually you get to a point where then you can say, you break through, you make your point, and then you can just be like a boss, like she is, like
Mm-hmm.
calling the shots, running her own career, having her own, what I'm saying, her um create, like she does her creative, you know what I'm saying, like she has a
Mm-hmm.
say, you know what I mean. So it's kind of like that's what the women did back in the day. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna play along, I'm gonna do this, and then eventually, it took a while. It took a very long while.
Yeah. I think
um,
about the 2010s, that's when it was like I get Trish and Lee had to carry it, but really like from 20 it like the 2010s, that's when I'm like, okay, they are now, this is like peak women's wrestling. Like,
but they even still didn't have a lot of time. I was listening to
yeah.
Eva on CVV, and she was talking about like the Total Divas, and then that's also like when Push Divas, or that whole thing started, was because even still then they weren't getting as much time on the screen. And
Mm-hmm.
when I heard her say that, I was like, oh wow, that makes sense, because I liked the Total Divas show. And then I tried to tune into the matches, and it just didn't, it was a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was saying that they still didn't really have the time to tell those stories, like they didn't really still have those time slots still, I was like, that kind of makes sense. That's why
Yeah.
there was like that's why, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was, what was it? It was really with when AJ Lee came along, and then also Becky.
Yeah. I think
Like
it's
that was kind
like,
of, that was like
yeah,
mid
because like,
2010s, right? Like mid to late
yeah.
2010s.
Yeah, and that was when NXT. It was times where I was like, "Yo, NXT is better than the main roster right now," because it was just both sides. Like men's side was cooking. That's when it was, Johnny Gargano. It was Adam Cole and them and the whole Undisputed Era. Like then on the women's side, you had Becky, Sasha, Charlotte. Then I'm like, well, these women down here are performing better than some of the women on the main roster. Like they was having match of the year type quality matches down there. So, which was why I was like, okay, if like they finally, like by the mid 2010s, that's when it was like they finally got their just due.
Mm.
And then, cause like I think one time, like there was a story. I think it was maybe it was a match between Natalya and Michelle McCool or something like that. I guess like at Night of Champions, where they had outperformed in the time slot they was given, and Vince had unceremoniously punished them for it. And then
Oh, I think I remember
Jericho,
hearing about that.
and then Jericho like backstage was like, well, what's the big deal? They just put on a classic. We need to do the same. Like it's a competition. Like they shouldn't be punished for it. They should be rewarded. I mean,
Mm.
like it doesn't matter if they on, 15 minutes, 20, 25 minutes. It's what you do, in the
With that
slot
time
times.
given,
Yeah.
right?
Like, cause you might never know. You might be the best match of the night. Wherever time. No matter if I'm going on first, middle, or I'm the main event. Hey, just give me 15, 20 minutes. That's all I need. Just give me a chance. And I think that
Right.
was the message that the women was telling to WWE at that time. It's still probably sharing that same message now, where it's like, hey, give us a chance. You may never know. We might end up being the best match of the night.
You know what? You know what? Yeah, like because there was a fan, I saw something on X where there was a fan that had a sign that said "Let women main event,"
Mm,
and and I think they had it at Elimination Chamber, and
mm,
when it was seen on camera, I think like that was when, from what the person said, like when their sign was, they took the sign in, everything was fine, and then when it was seen on camera, that's when it got confiscated.
mm.
So, and I was kind of thinking like main event because I know, I mean, there have been some Raws and SmackDowns where women matches have main evented, like
Yeah.
for that. But as far as PLEs out of Evolution, have there been, had women main
Mm,
evented?
I I want to say WrestleMania 32 with Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. I want to say,
Okay,
or
wait, so that was 10 WrestleManias ago?
I think it. I
Because we
think it.
have
I
42.
don't quote me on this. I think it was WrestleMania 32. I'm not sure. I want to say WrestleMania 32, and that was in Dallas. I want to say it was that, but I'm not sure. No. But I remember
Yeah.
they. But I do remember their faces being on like this big poster outside of Cowboy Stadium that year. So I
Okay.
think it was that one. But like you said, this was 2016 to like 2026.
That
So
was
you
literally 10
show,
years ago.
yeah. So then it kind of also reminds you that there, even though the women's wrestling has progressed, it's still it still has ways to go, if that makes sense. It
Yeah.
still has
Yeah,
ways to go.
it does. Yeah.
Like
It's
now, yes,
interesting. It's very interesting. Like,
I thoroughly enjoyed the women's evolution pay-per-view. And I think what it showed people was, hey, we're just as good as the men, and sometimes we might outdo the men. Okay, night one. Okay, yeah, night one. Sasha. Okay, Sasha. That
mhm,
was
mhm.
WrestleMania 37. That was in Tampa. I know that WrestleMania. That was
Oh,
in
so that
Tampa.
was okay. So half. So 5 WrestleManias ago.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Devin saying Sasha and Bianca. I remember that one. That was WrestleMania.
Right. Oh yeah, that okay.
Yeah, that either that was like 20. I'm trying to think. Was that 2020? 2019, 2020? It was around that time. I know it was
Okay,
that.
so we
Yeah.
cut it in half. Okay.
Yeah. But it still shows you that like they still has ways to go though. It still shows you that they have
Yeah.
ways to go.
Well, that's true because like even like WrestleMania, what was that? 40? Was it WrestleMania 39? Or maybe it was 39.
39.
Rhea and Charlotte. Rhea and
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte. That was that felt like a main event,
Yeah.
but it
I
was,
it's shy.
and
It's
that
shy.
was and that was their thing, like kind of going in, or at least Rhea was like, oh, we're not main
Yeah.
evented. Okay, well, hold on, hold my beer.
Mm-hmm.
Let
It
me show
was
you.
yeah. Because I think everybody was, of course, the whole time it was, Roman and Cody, and rightfully so. I mean, it was the top storyline at that time, and this was
Rest,
before Rhea took off at WrestleMania 39. So I think with Rhea, it surprised me. I was kind of going into that match with low expectations, but after that match, I'm like, that could be the best match. Like, arguably. Like, I get it. Roman and Cody's match at 39 was like cinema and anticlimactic as it was. But I thoroughly enjoyed the other match from that event. Yeah, you could say Rhea Charlotte
mhm.
because it was Charlotte saying, "Hey, I'm the standard. I will continue to be the standard." And yeah, you might be getting better, but I'm still the best. And Rhea's like, well, yeah, but the last time you faced me, that's a different Rhea.
That was
I
a
was,
totally different Rhea.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a different Rhea. The Rhea that you saw down at NXT, that's different compared to now. And when
Mm-hmm.
Rhea beat Charlotte, it was kind of a changing of the guard. It was
For real.
It was
It
like
was. It was a new era.
Yeah, not the new era. It was because as crazy as it sounds, it was starting to feel that way. And we've been saying new era from now, which feels like since like forever.
He needs to go ahead and just trademark that.
Yeah, just trademark it.
With his voice, though. With his voice. Like, not just with his voice, like himself.
You know what? What's so crazy about it? It could be a tagline for the new WWE video game.
For WWE 2K6?
Yes. Either 26 or 27, how you want to put it. It's a new era.
07 maybe now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, we're a little over on we're a little over on time. I'll be mindful. I know you just got done with class today, right?
Yeah.
So you probably, I know you said you want to take your nap. So let me let you go, see if you go take your nap. I try to be very considerate.
I know.
So this has been fun. I know you and I are going to connect on LinkedIn. But where else where can people find you?
So I'm on, as you people know, like I'm on Twitter at BrandBean30. You can find me on Instagram at BrandBean30. 35, like 30, 11, 23. I forgot. I have to put it all like, I guess like I will post it,
Yeah, just like
socials.
Send it to
Yeah,
that, or like just send it to me too, like in the DM, and then I can put it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can add it to the description.
But like for as Twitter, you can find me on at BrandBean30, and Instagram BrandBean301123. So I usually post more on Instagram, and I have a TikTok, but I would send you that in my DMs. But I mainly post more on TikTok and Instagram than I do X. But I am on X, here and there. So, but follow me on all three, and then of course I do have a YouTube channel. I'm still in the beginning stages of it because I'm thinking about doing a podcast show, but don't really have a partner, because it's like who wants to listen to themselves talk for 2 hours about stuff? So I'm still...
Don't be shading
No, I'm sorry. I ain't mean to shade you.
That's shade, Brandon.
No, it's not shade. It's that's why I told you.
I know. I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you.
But like it's cool to listen to myself talk, but it's like I kind of need somebody else to bounce it off. Like
it does make a difference. Like even when I'm doing like the Mimi Morning Show, if I have people in the chat, it's like cool because then I can respond. But when when it's like crickets, it's just kind of like, okay, I'm just kind of talking about. And sometimes I'm into that. Sometimes I'm cool with that because I mean, I'm pretty cool to talk to. So, but yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying though. It is better when you kind of have other people to kind of like vibe off of and stuff like that. So But yeah, well, that's really cool. Interesting. Everyone, make sure Brandon did post in the chat. So make sure that you scroll up and click on his I guess his profile, and follow him on YouTube as well. And then I will put up his social media links in the description. And yeah, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So that concludes it for this episode of Tasty Talks Tech, Wrestling, and Life. Make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Be sure to follow me, Tech Wrestle Mommy, everywhere as it's listed right here on my name tag here. Tech Russell Mommy now everywhere. And thank you for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow for the Mimi Morning Show. It'll be just me. So I'll be sitting and talking for 2 hours. Well, maybe not, probably not 2 hours. But I'll be sitting and talking and chatting and stuff like that. So same format, but just a little more like, I swear more. We'll say that. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for joining. And I will see you tomorrow, and ciao for now.